Radio Stoke. It's coming up to 15 minutes past 6 now. So next month, Keele University, in fact the Sikh Society there, will be introducing the campus to langar, which is the Sikh concept of a free food service. To explain more is Jagveer Singh, the Student Union's Racial Diversity Representative. Good evening, Jagveer.
Good evening.
So just tell us a little bit about langar, just what's it all about?
Langar itself, it's one of the primary concepts of the Sikh faith. And it was established by the first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, around 500 years ago. And now, at that time, you had a lot of social, political and economic unrest, and there was a lot of disparity within a society, inequality. And the whole purpose behind langar itself, if you translate it from Sanskrit and Persian, it kind of means like a free kitchen, like a big kitchen. And the purpose of it is to give food to everybody regardless of their status in society, their caste, or what part they are in the world. Because during that time there was a lot of inequality, as I mentioned, and people weren't allowed to eat in certain places, they weren't allowed to sit next to certain people. So by implementing this, the Sikh Guru had kings and emperors sitting next to people that were poor and homeless. So it's showing everybody to the world that everybody's equal, essentially, regardless of what colour you are, what background you're from.
So breaking down barriers then?
Yeah, breaking down barriers.
Is it religious then, or is it more cultural then?
Ideally it's a religious concept, but as time's progressed, many cultures embrace it. People from the Sikh faith around the world do it. So it's getting into different cultures, and as you said, you're breaking food to break barriers, essentially. So bringing people together. And
how often does it happen?
Well, if you look at the Golden Temple in India, they serve around 100,000 people a day.
And that's every day?
In every single day, yeah.
Wow.
And now if you go to any Sikh temple around the world, they'll serve food every day, 24 hours, regardless of who you are, where you're from. You're always welcome to come and have a meal, essentially. So it's for everybody, it's for the community.
How well known is this? Because you hear about people, homeless people who are hungry, and they'll go to churches, they'll go to local hostels and stuff, but is it known that Sikh temples are open like this and provide this?
I think in the recent years it's kind of come to light now.
Yeah.
Maybe during my granddad's time in the 1970s, 1980s, when they first came to Britain, it wasn't really much known, but I think as our generation has grown up and we've become more involved in society, people are starting to find out and understand that this is part of our faith and it's for everybody. So I think slowly people are finding out.
So why introduce this to the Keele campus then?
I think it's very, very important and special because it lets people know about the community. As an example, the Sikh community. Many people might not know the religion or the background. And as my position as a racial diversity officer at the Student Union, it's kind of my responsibility to try and make the community at Keele more diverse and more representative of society. So bringing people together, showing people that different cultures can come together, and a great way is to give free food out.
Absolutely. So who are you expecting to turn up on the event then?
Everybody from the whole community. Everybody's welcome. Students, parents, teachers, lecturers, people from Stoke-on-Trent as well. Everybody's invited. It's the same kind of system you have in a Sikh temple, but it's on a more bigger scale, and it's for the whole community. Essentially, everybody's welcome. It doesn't matter what colour you are, where you're from. You're more than welcome to come and have a free meal and find out more about the Sikh faith.
So is that the kind of real reason behind it then? Because is it just about bringing different people together and sort of highlighting your religion and showing people what the Sikh religion is all about?
That is one of the main ideas, but I think a more important idea is that aspect of humanity.
Yeah.
That if you can't afford to have food, there's always a place where you can have food free of charge. And if you ever need help, then there's people there for you, communities are there for you to help you out. And it's bringing people together. It brings people to talk about different things, and what a great way to do it with food, essentially, and something that's nutritious and healthy as well.
Excellent. What kind of food do you traditionally will serve in a temple?
It's always vegetarian. Okay. So anybody with dietary requirements, it usually kind of deals with that. Lentils, chickpeas, chapatis, flour, and there's always a dessert, so something sweet as well, like from a milk dish, essentially. So it's tasty. Unless you try it, you won't know what it tastes like and how good it is.
Absolutely. And is this something that you hope to introduce regularly on the campus?
Regularly, if it was to be a regular thing, would look at it through a homeless perspective, so helping the homeless community of Stoke-on-Trent. But for now, from a student perspective, as other universities in the West Midlands have done it, it's going to be something that's once a year or maybe once or twice a year, depending on the occasion. The purposely why I wanted to start it up now is because the build up to the Sikh festival in April called Vaisakhi. So it's a kind of a build up essentially, and around this time many societies from different universities do the same thing on campus this time of the year.
Tell us a little bit about Vaisakhi. What does that celebrate?
Vaisakhi essentially celebrates the birth of the Khalsa, the celebration of the Sikh faith, the baptism of how Sikhs became identified as the Khalsa. So Sikhs that tie a turban, keep their hair, that identity, to celebrate that essentially. Culturally, it's to celebrate the harvest of the crop. Mm-hmm. So there's, they're both combined essentially. So in that sense, it's again another perfect way of doing it, celebrating and letting people know more about the faith as well.
Okay. Jagveer, just tell us a little bit about your role as the racial diversity rep for the Students' Union. What does your kind of day-to-day job entail?
It's not more of a day-to-day job, it's more of like working progress over time. Yeah. So looking out for the ethnic minorities on campus, LGBT, going to events that the National University students promote, and looking at how we can make the university life more diverse and bringing people together essentially. So apart from this project which I'm working on, I've also introduced another project which is the Humans of Keele University. And now that initiative is taking pictures of students, international students, and allowing them to give their feedback on the university, how it's helped them as an individual change through their life at university, how they become a better person, and what makes university special to them. So encouraging people from around the world, to come and look at education in the UK. So it's about giving back to the community of the university as well, which I think is very, very important.
Great. So tell us when it's happening then.
It's happening next week, Tuesday the 9th of February. It's happening in the ballroom of the Student Union. It's happening from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. So you can come throughout that time and have free food, and everyone's more than welcome.
And if you get a surge of people, is it a case of telling them to come back later, or
no?
Should they register beforehand?
There's no need to register.
No.
Just need to turn up.
Yeah.
And maybe there'll be a queue, but you'll have your food regardless. No one will be turned away. You'll be served on the day regardless.
Okay, Jagveer, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you very much. Thank you.